Yo, what up guys? So this video we're gonna talk about how to fast 9, right? What headliners you want, the general playstyle, and what offense you want, right? Alright, so let's get into it. So here we have one cost headliners that I think are pretty good, right? Annie, you don't have to reroll Annie, right? Annie plus Spellweaver Super Fan is just good as a transitional unit, so you can use her for early game for AP, right? Corky, just good 80 user, but can also use like Shojin Rageblade. What you notice out of all of these is that they can use Shojin and Rageblade pretty well, which are one of the best endgame item combinations for stuff like Sona, Ziggs. Shojin is good on Jin and Rageblade is good on Lucian, right? So because of that, Shojin, Spear Shojin, and Rageblade are good items to slam early. They're good on these guys, and they're just good items in general. In terms of frontline, right, Tark is good. Cannon, especially Super Fan variant, is good, but we'll take any Cannon, right? Tark and Nami, we prefer the Disco variant, so you don't need Gragas, but hey, if you can get Disco in early, even without the +1 Disco, then we're chilling. Other one costs, right? Like Evelyn is good situationally. Lilia is good situationally, but obviously I think Kennen's a lot better than Lilia, and Evelyn I feel like you need a team around her to really pop off and good items. So they're more conditional, whereas these not as conditional, right? So you notice here in my game when I'm trying to play Fast 9, I have a Yasuo in my shop here. Yeah, I have a Yasuo in my shop here, but I don't really want the Yasuo. So what I get here is Annie instead. And I think Annie is acceptable, right? Like it's one of the ones that I feel like are fine to take. But you could tell later on that I trade her in. And that's a concept that we want to think about a lot when we're trying to play Fast 9. We want to trade headliners. Well, not just Fast 9, just in general, but we want to trade headliners to keep up strength at all points of the game. So, two costs. Two costs that are good. Shojin Razeblade holders, right? Senna and Seraphine, very, very good. Senna is like probably the best. But both of these are good to play flex around those items or just AP in general. Kaisen can use those items and FLOs can use those items, right? These are good. Gnar, you kind of want bruiser items or tank items, but preferably bruiser items like healing, like Bloodthirster, like maybe a Titans, right? Otherwise, a naked Gnar, not too impactful. Tanks, always good early game, right? Garen, Gragas, Pantheon, just good fun line, right? So, what you'll notice is that at 2-5, right, I get a headliner shop. And what I get here is, hold on, oops. I guess Seraphine, right? I guess Seraphine instead of Annie. No, I replaced instead of Annie because Seraphine's a bit better, right? And if Seraphine doesn't hold up, like in stage 3 at 3-5, I might trade her for a 3 cost, but it's unlikely, right? Or 4-1 for a 3 cost. But I get a high roll and get an RE. Yeah, I high roll and get an RE in my shop at 2-7. So that means I'm probably committed to this KDA Spellweaver line for a long time, right? So if it wasn't holding up, Seraphine wasn't holding up, I could try to trade for one of these guys, right? The best tank frontline headliner is Amumu. I say Amumu is just busted in general. Like I prioritize Mumu a lot as frontline in early and mid game. Right, or if you get a headliner Vex, you could do headliner Vex and then plus a Mumu, right? Just play around that. Right, this can use Shojin Rageblade. MF can use Shojin Rageblade. Urgot can even use Shojin Rageblade. Urgot's fine. These guys are situational. Yone and Echo, I haven't had good experiences with them, but if you get like Echo, like Yone really early, he can clear a lot of boards. But he probably gets outscaled quite fast. Set and Mordecai are good tanks. Other 3 costs, Nico, Samira, Lulu, like they're Lux, like they're fine. I just haven't had good experiences with them. So yeah. But I mean, if you're missing Nico and then you want Superfan online, when your front line's bad but your back line's decent, then yeah, we take something like Nico, right? In terms of 4 costs, you generally want to, if your HP is like getting kind of low, so you're like 40 HP at 4-2, and your econ isn't crazy to go level 9 at like 4-5 or whatever, then I would look to trade your current headliner for one of the good 4 cost headliners. Damage wise, like if you have Shojin Rageblade or just Shojin in general, Karthus is the best, unless you have a good TF line, right? Then you can just probably play TF in the meantime. But Karthus is the best AP damage dealer in my opinion, because he just does more damage than the rest. Kali is good booster items, right? Or AD items. These two are the best, but these guys are like acceptable. Ezreal, acceptable as well with Shojin in some AD items, right? But you do need kind of good frontline for him. If you just get one of the headliner tanks, acceptable, and then you have to find some damage source elsewhere, right? So 4-2, if your board's not holding up, you might have to just commit to an 8 or just roll a bit, try to find a 4 cost and then go 9, right? But in my game, I completely bypass, like a 4-2, I bypass the 4 cost, right? Because I'm 74 HP, 40 gold, I feel like I could get away with a bit of greeting. And I mean, I do. So what that means is it's going to be 5-2 roll down, because level 8 40 at 4-2 is not necessarily like rich. So I just bypass stage 4 entirely, and then I go for a 5-2 roll down. That means I have like what 32 gold to roll, right? It's 5-1. I level up, sell the Seraphine, right? Because you want to sell the headliner to look for a 5 cost, so you get headliners each shop. And then what I'm primarily looking for is a tank, and I high roll Yorick here, but Alawi's fine, right? Sometimes like you might just miss the roll down and just go like 6th or like 7th, and that's fast 9 sometimes, right? Like, but here I get a bit lucky, so I get Yorick because my front line is like kind of lacking. So I immediately sell this Echo. I need a replacement Spellweaver, but I was a little bit dizzy, not gonna lie. So put the Yorick in, and then I randomly have like a Karthus and the Jhin. Just randomly, like, because I am so dizzy. I'm trying to find any Spellweaver. Don't find it, right? So I lose another fight. I'm looking for Ziggs as well. Like, I just need 1 Ziggs and I'm like relatively stable. And then next shop, I do get Ziggs, I think. Yes, I do get Ziggs. Right. Roll, get a Ziggs, get rid of this Jhin, right? I don't really care about this Jhin. Put the items on Ziggs. I need any Spellweaver except Karthus. I ignore this Echo. I don't know why I'm so dizzy, but the right play is just Echo instead of Evelyn, right? I want Mosher because like it helps my Yorick actually like a decent amount, because my Yorick is big daddy carry right now. So, I win a couple of fights, and then surprisingly, I mean I got a Ziggs too eventually, but surprisingly I go 2nd here, even though my board I wouldn't consider it good because it's not a full 5 cost board, but I'm just too poor to get out of Superfan and KDA in this RE, right? I just don't have enough gold to get out of it. Best case scenario, Jhin 2, right? Sona 2, Lucian plus Bard plus MF, and then Alawi 2 somewhere. But where's the gold for that? I can't, so I'm trying to play for every round. And then I end up going 2nd here, right? I beat the other 5 cost player because frontline 5 costs are broken, and good thing I didn't sell my entire board just to look for just to replace it with like Jhin 1, right? Because like sometimes you just have a couple of 5 costs thrown in because you don't have the gold to work with. And I get a 2nd here. I wouldn't necessarily consider this like a high roll game. The only high roll moment is I found Yorick, but then right, the concepts are there. I got an econ augment early game, which is escort quest, but I didn't get that much value out of it, right? Which transitions to my next topic. Augment. what augment do we want? You're gonna notice that there's a common theme amongst these augments. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Common theme. They're all econ or XP augments. Cutting corners lowers XP requirement. Good for something. Gives gold. Spoils of war gives gold. Misconnections. Honestly, a lot of the value is that you will be missing like Lily or Ked in early game for super fan more often than you'd like, and then this could give you one copy of each, or it's just gold, right? So I like this a lot. Escort quest only really takeable if your board's strong early. If your board is really bad, you're not gonna get much value out of it. Whereas stuff like Lucky Streaks, I mean, Lucky Streak kind of the same concept, but it's not as dependent on a strong board. Spoils of War, it is dependent on a strong board, same as Escort Quest. Where Clutter Mind, Clear Mind, Patient Study does not matter what your board looks like. You'll get value out of it regardless. And Rich Get Richer is the same thing, right? Like, you'll probably just sack a couple of rounds and just build econ up, right? Shopping Spree gives a little bit of econ, and it gives you the option to basically upgrade your board early and mid game for free. So you get headliner, shops, and you get upgrades, right? Stuff like Echo 2, Nico 2, and Mumu 2, stuff like really help in the early mid game, right? And then you can trade for like a 4 cost when you go 8, and then go 9, right? And then obviously level 9 you get free shops. Level up gives XP, Spoils of War gives gold, Hedge Fund gives gold. So all of these, the sole purpose of these augments are for you to go 9. It doesn't mean you can't go 9 without these augments. It's just that these help a lot, right? So you can kind of understand the thought process behind going fast 9, right? So yeah, we talked about units, we talked about augments, talked a little bit about the playstyle. I hope this video helped you guys, because this is one of the best, if not the best, strategies for this current patch and maybe this set, right? So yeah, good luck on your climb, guys. I'm out of here.